You're so great at so many things, but this is one that you have mastered. And so it's commandment number 5 is sell early. And from day one, you are the merch guy, like merch, books, shows, like you basically
Right?
invented a new way of payment system. You know what I mean? With offer based, pay what you want. Like nobody is better to talk about selling early than LaRussell himself. What was the first piece of merch you, or not even merch, because that's just generalizing. What's the first thing you ever sold that had to do with your art?
That had to do with the art, a CD.
Now, was this back when we were selling CDs, or this was past CDs time?
Yeah, this is back when we were selling CDs, like
Okay,
mixtape.
so you sold your mixtape. What year is this? What year is this? We talking?
Shit, high school, like 11th, 12th grade,
Hey,
maybe even before that, 10. So yeah, this is like 2011, 2010,
yeah.
2012.
From that experience, was it a positive experience or was it a negative experience? Like, what was your first experience selling?
It made me realize at that time I didn't care about I end up giving them all away.
Mm,
You feel me?
wow.
Because it was like, I want people to hear this shit more than I want them to buy this shit. You know, and that's still kind of my shit. Like, bro, a lot of like that's why I don't direct sell every album I make. Some shit I just drop it, and it's like, bro, you don't, like music is so. Man, if you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't, go stream. As long as you get to consume the art, like for me, there'll always be something to sell. And like I say, I'm a tree. Music is just a branch on my tree. Merch is a branch on my tree. Everything. I want you to be concerned with the tree and not the branches anyway. Because if you care about the tree, all the branches gonna flourish anyway. So all that shit to me is like, if they don't buy this, I'm cool. Here's a book. This is my offering, and that's why I love offer based, because if I have to sell it, I just much prefer you determine what you pay for than me have to tell you what's in your pocket or make you feel away because you can't afford it or whatever. You feel me?
All right, so let me ask you this: what all do you sell right now? Like, tell me all the branches right now.
Stock, which is royalty shares and songs,
Yeah.
gold cards, merchandise, and under merch, that's everything from tees, hoodies, notebooks. Um, we're making chessboards. I'm about to be selling pickleball paddles and shit.
Yeah.
What else is down there in the merch room? Uh, stickers, hats, beanies. I
Yeah.
sell microphones. Like there was a time I was selling like game mics. After I have a big show or a moment, I sell that. Gibbets. What else have I sold? I've sold so much shit.
What is a gibbet?
A bike. A gibbet is like Croc that go into your Crocs.
Yeah. Oh,
Records. I sell CDs,
yeah.
vinyls. Shit, I've even sold. What the fuck did I did? I did a competition for some. Yeah, I just said those. Yeah, I've sold hella shit. Honestly, like I could say
So
I could post these Crocs tomorrow and be like, nigga, I did this show in it. Whatever
for
you want,
sale.
and niggas will buy that shit.
So let's start with the stocks in the gold card because that alone is just I want to say a new idea, a bold idea.
Innovation.
Yeah. So let's start. So tell me how did that start off?
Man, both of those ideas were just like earthquake moments. Like one earthquake went off and shit shook, and then these were a bunch of aftershocks. Like me and T had a period where we were just like going back and forth with ideas so much we kept coming up with new shit. And it really just started as like a conversation, like, this would be crazy, right? And then the next day we'll post that shit and announce it. I remember when we did the stock shit, I feel like that first day we had like $50,000 or $60,000 worth of offers that I had to just go through. When we started doing the offer based shows for the backyard shit, thousands of fucking. That's also what I sell, tickets to shows. A lot of
Yeah.
niggas don't say that.
Right. Niggas cannot
you
sell
know,
hard
but
tickets.
but yeah, they were just ideas and things that I thought was dope. Like the stock shit to me is like the greatest thing ever. Still, is like, bro, niggas get my niggas get paid when every month. So it's like I already know what's happening to the fans, and I'm
Yeah.
just getting started. It's like, bro, when a nigga 1 year from now, when a nigga doing like you think Right now, I do about 3, 4 million streams a month.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these niggas suck and they doing 100 million streams. So it's like, imagine when a nigga doing 100 million. You do 100 million streams, that's about roughly $400,000, $500,000, right?
Yeah.
So if a nigga just got what 1%, you on the way with 5 grand off
A
one
month.
percent,
Yeah, a month.
nigga. 5 grand off 1%. Some niggas got this percent of the song, this song here, song here, song here. Like, bro, I'm the
What
first artist ever that's gonna have fans like, nigga,
eating?
what? When I'm done in 2, 3 years, I won't even have to do PR like interviews because the fans is gonna be like, nigga, I just gotta pay out, and all I gotta do is see that shit to the people. It's like, nigga, who else?
Well, break down stocks. So like some people might not even understand what you're doing with the stocks.
So basically, I'm allowing people to purchase a percentage of royalty from the master, from streaming, from DSP. So when a song goes on Spotify, like I said, if it gets 1 million streams, it generates $4,000 to $5,000. So if that whatever song, say Baggage Claim, generates that amount of money, I allow fans to say, "Hey, I want to buy 2% of the royalties from streaming in this song." And it generates $1 million. You get that percentage of that. The same way, like the industry calls it master points. They'll say, "Oh yeah, this person has this many points on the master." That's all it is. They're buying a point on the master.
And as a businessman, how does that help you?
It gives me capital to continue to build in exchange for something that's perpetual that they'll just keep collecting, but I get upfront capital.
Right, to operate. And I think a lot of artists don't think that far because they don't even think with their entrepreneurial mind, which what I'm trying to get them to think with. You selling this stock is amazing for the fan because look at the story they get to tell, but also for you, it's like, okay, now I have this capital to work with to go execute what I need to execute. That I got up front versus waiting for streaming revenue. So that's
Bro, it's like as a fan, most fans, if you support an artist, the most you could do is buy merch and buy a ticket, right?
mhm,
None of those have perpetual royalties attached to them.
right.
I'm the first one where it's like, oh yeah, I bought that year. And some people got in so early, like gold cards. Some people were such early adopters that, man, they just
Yeah,
like there's gonna be a time where I'm not doing this shit no more. And it's like, bro, the early adopters, one, some niggas got royalties and songs for like $50, $60, some a couple hundred, some a couple thousand, but it's like, man, they got it
yeah,
forever. And this just getting started, like, bro, some of the biggest artists in the world is doing 1 billion streams in a span of a decade. You feel me? Like I see
right.
myself in the same lane.
So what's the difference between a stock and a gold card?
So a gold card is different. It's an artist membership. The main perk of the gold card is you can come to any LaRussell show that we throw
Hmm.
in whatever city, in any venue, whatever, for absolutely free for the rest of my career. So, like, we have fans who come to every show, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
they'll fly in because they can. And you
right.
feel me? And that's imagine these shows. I started gold cards when I was doing 250 cat rooms, 300 cat rooms. I'm going to do an arena in a year or so, and it's like
Yeah,
they get. You ain't never went to no arena show for free, nigga, just because you was able to show a card. So it
yeah,
does that, get added to a stock list. So a lot of the gold card members, like when I drop new songs, they'll randomly just get a percent of some random songs and here and
right,
there. And man, it's just, but really it's community. Like they love to just be a part of the LaRussell community. Like in the future, we're going to be doing very special things just for gold card members. Like I got this
right.
idea to fly all of them out and pay for their shit, and we have like dinner and do this retreat, and niggas just
Yeah.
chill. But like that shit, that's exclusive to the people who really wanted to support.
Do the gold card memberships vary? Like, has the price risen since as you grown?
Definitely, it had to.
Okay.
It had
Okay.
to,
And I think like number one, as creative and amazing that this is, and like the story that it tells, is just smart business sense because you need capital to fund your journey, and you found these creative ways to get the fans involved to provide you that capital. You sold from the beginning, like you said,
bro.
you've been doing this. You know what I
And
mean?
you need capital that has low expense attached to it. Like a gold card is so dope because a gold card cost me like 40 cents to print up. You feel me? And it's like if a nigga end up paying you a couple grand for something that it only took you 40 cents to make, but they get to have perpetual benefits and things that you do, that's a W. That mean I like there's no margin versus merch, where it's like, bro, this shirt cost me $20 to produce. So if you pay me 25, I only made $5. Like that shit cool when you doing 10x. Like if I spend 10,000 and I make 50, that's great. But when you doing 20 to 25, it's like that shit take long. But when you do something like a go kart, like this cost me 40 cents. If a nigga only gave me 100, that's a big yield. But what's dope is as my demand grows, the amount that I'm willing to accept for gold card grows too, because like you weren't an early adopter. You can't get a stock 20 cent because you came in 3 years later. You waited. You knew it was happening and you waited, but you want the same stock price as the early adopter. That's not how it works, but it's still worth it.
They say it takes 10,000 hours to master a field. Well, what do you call spending 157,000 hours on one task? Breaking artists. Over my 18 years, I've witnessed the music business change abruptly from year to year. Yet I see artists rise to stardom throughout every era, no matter the landscape. Working directly with these success stories, I've noticed 10 principles that all these artists live by that have helped them conquer their eras. What are the characteristics? What are the traits? What are the practices of a successful artist? What does it take? 10 artist commandments. No matter the era, no matter the landscape, no matter the platform. If you want to have a successful career as an artist, read this book. Let me ask you this: how did you get the fans to begin supporting you in this way? Like, because a lot of people can't sell hard tickets. A lot of people can't sell merch. Like their fans just aren't used to that. How did you get the fans to be able to get to the point where they're supporting you like this?
I give all of me. You've never you I give all of me. You'll never meet a LaRussell fan that had a bad LaRussell experience. Like they get so much from me that I'm just a nigga you want to support. Like, bro,
Mm.
I go to so many shows and I've never seen an artist do what I do. I'm out in the crowd before the show, hugging and talking. I'm after the show. I'm hollering at
Yeah,
niggas. I'm hugging. Like I'm in the middle of the show. I talk direct to you. I'm taking requests. Like you could message me and I hit you like with sir.
yeah,
I used to pull up to fans' house and drop off merch. Like you feel me? It's just too it's too real. I'm a human. You feel me?
genuine.
And like niggas want to see that shit thrive.
What made you start doing the Q&As at your shows?
Another thing where I just thought like, man, I wish I could ask a nigga, these
Yeah.
things when I see him at a show. Like that'd be dope to be able to get these questions off. And I used to watch a lot of Sad Guru, and Sad
Mhm.
Guru is dope because this nigga he gets booked for things for
Yeah.
people to just ask him questions. He don't perform, he don't do none of that shit.
Right.
He's booked for a whole hour, and it's just people asking him questions. And I'm
Right.
like a nigga where it's like, bro, I'm an open book and I'm a wealth of knowledge. And the fans, like a lot of my fans are indie artists or indie entrepreneurs and they want to know this shit too. So it's
Yeah.
just a dope thing to add. It's another thing to add to the show that makes it very unique where like some things are just like a fix. Like you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
couldn't go to that concert, but I got to go to that one. So it made up for it. You can't do
Yeah.
that with a LaRussell show. You can't go to nowhere else and it'll make up. You have to come to this one specifically.
So going back to not only selling but how you sell, how did you come up with pay what you want?
Nip. So I remember vividly I was riding my bike in American Canyon and I was thinking just like, okay, how can I do what Nip did with the Proud to Pay album, with the $100 album, but how can I do it in a way that works for my niggas? Because I don't know a lot of niggas that got 100 to spend on the album. And I was like, I'm gonna just let niggas pay whatever because if I get $1 versus going home with zero, I won that day, right? And I was like, man, if I could get 100 niggas to be like, shit, I at least shoot you $2, $3, $4, like if you just shot me whatever was left in your pocket, that was better than me going home with zero. So it was like, nigga, let's try it. And I started with the pay what you want. I did a couple shows like that. And I got to see the difference and I just kept evolving. We eventually made it up to offer base.
And offer base is the most like it's so obvious but so genius. You know what I mean? Like that's the like how have we not been doing this? So what was your first offer base show?
The backyard.
The backyard.
So basically with offer base, you go into what's TBA or the ticket site, whatever ticket site we're utilizing, but what's TBA is what we built it through.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in there, it's like any other ticketing site, but the difference is you get to put in your own price that you're willing to pay. So it
Yeah.
says, and it's funny when we first did this, I had Ibrima, who's the co-owner of What's TBA. I had him code because it used to say, I forgot what the fuck it said, and I told him, I said, you need to change the verbiage to say, "What's it worth to you?"
To you.
Because
Yeah, I
that
see that.
changes what people put.
Right.
And we had that shit change. Soon as we made that change, I start seeing the offers look different.
Right.
But yeah, you go in there, you put what you willing to spend, and it comes to a back end portal to me, and I get to either accept or decline.
Did you go through a point where you were doing a minimum?
Um, no, and I still don't.
You still,
Honestly, like, bro, there's shows where niggas still get in for $2, $4, because
yeah.
I be like, it's funny. Me and T had a conversation one time, and she was like, "Why are you accepting these offers? Da da da, because we could be making this." And I was like, "That is not what it's about, nigga."
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
think
feel
it's
me? So
brilliant. I think it's brilliant because you still have to give people the hope that not even a hope, but you still have to show people it's not all about the money. You know what I mean? It's about
because
this
it's not.
community.
You feel me? It's not, but it is also important. Like I want to be respected for my value, so I can't
Yeah.
always just let you give me $1 because
Yeah.
to me it's like if you giving me your last dollar, I have sentiments, and it's like, man, I fuck with you, I appreciate that. But if you
Yeah.
giving me the dollar as a short end, like, oh, well, I'm gonna go do all these things, and then I'm gonna go
Yeah.
see you for $1, it's like, bro, you're not gonna treat me like that.
Yeah.
Cause you could have took the short end on something else, but you chose to do it on me. So it's like sometimes I'll allow the dollar in, and sometimes I'm like, nah, not this time. And I have
Yeah.
that power. I should be able to do that because I built it.
You are very rare, and a lot of people look at you and they love what you're doing, but they're like, man, a lot of artists. I'm talking about artists. They love what you're doing, but they're scared to do it. They're scared to sell. You know what I mean? What advice would you give them to like get over that fear of putting it out there and say, hey, buy my merch or buy my CD? Like, why do you feel like that fear is there?
I think if you scared, go to church. No, usually, if you scared to sell, is because you don't believe in your product, and at that point, I think you need to go do more work. Only time I've ever been able to, I've been scared to show a nigga something or sell a nigga something is when I'm like, shit, I don't know if it is, but it's like I believe in my product, and I think you should have it. Like I think it's worth something. You feel me? And if you don't feel that way about what you're making, then you need to make some. You need to not sell until you feel that way about something. Because I don't want to buy no shit that you don't feel that way about. So you can hold off on selling. And I think like with the sell early thing, I think is a good thing, but I also think it's like it's not nothing we should pitch to everybody. Because sometimes it's like, bro, you don't have shit you need to be selling. Just go work on your product.
And I think another thing too is like artists are scared, or people are scared of no's. You know what I mean? And so they're like, okay, I'll put it out there on streaming platform, and nobody can tell me no to my face. But when you're selling it, you feel like they're saying no when you don't get any sales.
Right.
You feel like, man, niggas is not really messing with me. So it's like that
and
that
that's
that fear.
never what it is. It's like, bro, if your product isn't selling, you aren't doing the work you need to do to sell it. Like, bro, a lot of niggas got great product. You know how many niggas make great songs? There's some great artists out here, and niggas ain't buying their records because it's like, bro, you're not making the product is one facet. You have to market that product. The only reason we buy Apple Pro Max headphones is because they marketed and made sure we knew they existed. They didn't just make the product.
Making the product versus marketing the product. People don't understand that you have to spend more to market than you do to make it.
Yeah, with me that varies. It depends on the product. If I believe in a product, I don't have a budget on what I spend to market a product. Like if you look at my ad spend, you'll be like, "What the fuck?" Because it's like, bro, I don't that don't exist for me. I'm going to spend whatever it takes to make it work if I really believe in it. And I also know when to pivot or when it's not time for something or the product isn't right. Sometimes I'll have a song I really love, but I don't have a piece of content that I really love that deserves that kind of budget. But once I find something that works, I'm running that bitch until it ain't working no more. You feel me? But I don't really have like I don't do when you go set up an ad, most people would say you could pick an amount of days and how much you want to spend each day and you can set a date. I don't set a date. My shit is just like until I stop it. You feel me? And that's how I am with everything with merch. I run when I post merch, I run that ad until we sell out of merch or until it's like, okay, the sales have slowed until we find a new way to market it. That's what it is. But yeah, I don't it's limitless for me.
Well,
You feel
so
me? If I make a product and I really believe in it, I'm gonna spend whatever I can, within my means to make sure people see it.
so you do actually run ads on your merchandise?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Or do you have like obviously I'm sure you have a website, but do you have like a dedicated merch store?
Yep, yep.
And so I'm sure this probably gonna help a lot of artists. You have a dedicated merch store. Do you run ads to direct people to that merch store, or do you run ads specifically on specific pieces of merch? Like if I drop the new yellow good company joints, how does it work?
I just direct them to the store, but I
Okay.
do it behind like so we'll do either a really dope picture of us in the merch or a really
Yeah.
dope video of us in the merch, or I'll do like a dope like made graphic image of the merch,
Yeah.
and then I'll run an ad behind that, and I run an ad that connects to a link like a shop now ad.
And with your merch, is it pay what you want or is it offer based?
It's offer based. It used to be proud to pay, and then we switched to offer based.
Now that has to be a lot of offers. Like how do you manage going through all of those?
So what I've been able to do with merch where I don't have to manage it as much with going through the offers is like insane with TBA. Like the technology is set to where I could set a threshold. So I could
Mm-hmm.
set it to where if someone pays this amount, it automatically accepts and it takes
Accepts
them
it.
to the next process. If
Yeah.
someone pays lower than that amount, then it comes to me
It
and I
kicks
have
to
to
you.
determine whether I'm willing to do that right now or not.
How do you decide between pay what you want and offer based? And do you ever do fixed prices?
I never do fixed price, and I vary between proud to pay and offer based on what's being offered. Like when we do Momo's Proud to Pay Cafe, and I want the
Yeah.
community to eat, I do proud to pay because it's like, bro, I don't really care what you pay because I want you to get the end product. When I sell music, I do proud to pay because it's like, bro, I don't care what you pay. I just want you to get the product.
Product,
But when it
yeah.
comes to something like merchandise, it's like, bro, I can't accept $1 100 times. Like I would be detrimenting myself and it only
Right.
benefits you. Like that's not fair to me. So on things where I have to leverage my worth or I have payroll around or just it's like, bro, I can't let you do that.
Mm.
We do offer based.
So with you having so many phenomenal streams of income, and you might have already answered this when saying you spend whatever it takes. But my question is, how do you determine what to put back into your music business?
The same. I don't really have to determine what to put back in because all of my money really goes back in. Like I don't do like every now and then I'll get something I really like
Yeah.
enjoy and I go to concerts and shit. But for the most part, like I spend all my money,
Money
like
back into the
everything I
business.
do is my business. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like anything I do for me grows my brand. If I go buy a new frisbee and I go play frisbee and post it and it goes viral, it just benefits me, like
Right.
so yeah, I don't really have to make that
That
determination.
call.
Everything really goes back. Like man, we building a pergola or we investing in the shop and it's
Yeah.
just naturally it's my life.
Right. So the business is life, life is business. You know
And
what I
that's the
mean?
thing that I always have to like remind people when we're doing business because it's like I do business because of the product I have, but really this is my life. Like
Yeah.
it's not like a separate entity for me. Like this is my actual like if someone's paying me to perform, it's like, bro, this is my life. I gotta really come like this is yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to do. And I think that's been to my benefit, honestly, because if I looked at it as a business, I wouldn't spend certain things or I wouldn't take certain risks because it isn't smart for
Yeah.
business. But it's like, is it good for my life and do I believe in it?
The last and most important thing that you sell is tickets, right? H-
Huh?
How do you decide where to go and when to go? Because I'm sure you get massive offers. Like, how do you determine that part of your life?
So that's two different ways. Like for tour, I determine where to go based on data. Of course,
Yeah.
Chartmetrics, Spotify, Apple Music. Like I just use the data, and if I've created a formula in
Mm.
Excel that I've created, and I enter all the data, and it tells me like a minimum draw that I'll get in
Yeah.
whatever city, and I only go to cities where my minimum draw is a certain amount.
Got you.
If I'm going off of offers, it varies. Like now, I'm only willing to if you send me an offer through an email and I got to go to the East Coast or something. I'm not going unless I'm making a certain amount of money because I know who I'm bringing. I know what kind of
Yeah,
show I'm giving. I know what I want to be comfortable with. If it's local, it depends on how it feels. Honestly,
yeah,
like I don't have a set rate or a set precedent on how I decide. It's just
yeah,
like sometimes I'm in a really good mood and space, and it's like I'll do that,
yeah.
But it just depends on how I feel.
Well, you're one of the first artists that I've ever worked with and seen where you can really just pick and choose where you want to go and when you want to go. So, do you have like a thing like, okay, I want to do X amount of shows a month, or this side of the year I want to do this many shows? Like, how do you determine how many shows you want to do?
Yeah, so the last year and going into next year, I mean this year and going into next year, we've kind of been setting it up like that. Like I've set it up to where okay, I'll go do this many shows during the month
Yeah,
outwards, and then there's like next year I'm reeling in because I just want to be home more. I don't like being on the
yeah,
road, so it's like okay, I'll do this many, I'll do this. Man, it's all based on feeling. Honestly,
yeah,
like sometimes I feel good and I'll have a month where I book hella shit and I'm like, we just gonna be out because I'm feeling that way. And some
yeah,
months I won't take like right now, I've been getting all I haven't been taking none,
yeah.
not even it's funny, I was on a phone call the other day and the nigga was like, how much you need? And I told him I was like, you can give me 25. But honestly, even if you come back with 25, I'm probably not gonna do it because I just want to be home. You feel me? So
Yeah.
it really depends on how I'm feeling.
I'm just amazed at you. But what I want people to take away from the LaRussell experience is you're able to have 100% control because you own everything. It's all your shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? And people have to recognize like when they get into this business, there's so many people that will come and they may be helpful, but they'll take away too. This is a question. How have you managed to make it this far and keep ownership of everything?
Man, I can't operate without you. Remember when we was doing this shit and we
Yeah,
had a fuck with audio silent and I was like, no, nigga, that shit ain't make because I can't operate. It has to be a certain way for me to even feel good. It be feeling too conflicting and then I become detached and dissociated. I don't even want to deal with it because it's like, bro, I made these songs, nigga. Like I don't even and that's the thing with the labels, they well, we put up the budget tomorrow and make sure the world here, and then it's like I think that's worth something, but you didn't make the product that the product you're selling to the world that your children eat off of, that you get to buy your bins in your house from, you did not make. So like the fact that it just don't make no sense. You feel me? And for me, it's like I've been indie this whole time, and gratefully, I'm so happy I was able to see through all the bullshit and realize, like, man, I was able to do it from home. So for me to give up ownership, you'd have to give me so much because it's just like, why do you think a song could come out of my mouth and out of my mind and out of my brain and I can record it and give it to you to push and the world loves it and I made it and you can't make it, that you think I shouldn't own this? How does that even make any sense? How and like it literally doesn't make sense for any artist to not own their songs, no matter how much money. Now, it's different if a nigga buy your songs out, I guess, and they're like, I'm gonna give you this amount of money to make these songs for me to own. But it's like if a nigga making it and they just marketing it, it's like, bro, they can't make those songs. You feel me?
I just want to ask you this because we're here talking about the 10 Arts Commandments. We're talking about, people educating themselves and reading and investing in themselves. How much has self education played a role in getting you to where you are?
All of it. I mean, I didn't have no mentors early or nothing. Just books and YouTube and as much experience I could get. All my shit came from experience and just being able to shadow and look over people and ask
Yeah,
questions. But all of it, man, I am where I am because I really studied and I put in those 10,000 shots. I tried so many different things
yeah,
that T pulled us some shit the other day that was like some of the first when we decided to start doing a post a certain way. We had a bunch of different demos because we were like, let's see how this look. And we see some motion and we start laughing because we
yeah,
really just tried everything and learn. Like, man, I remember when we was trying to get the thumbnail right for TikTok, T went in there frame by frame by frame and posted each one as a draft to see which one would do it the right way. And like,
Yeah.
you can only do that shit by getting in there and figuring it out yourself.
Man, well, thank you, man, for coming on. Thank you for blessing the podcast. Thank you for blessing the book. There, the 10 Artist Commandments would not be the same without LaRussell, like without
Come
the
on,
jewels you
come
dropped in
on.
here, man, and just man, just you as a person, man. You know, I congratulate you. I celebrate you. I need to come to like whenever your next birthday party is. I need to like you need to be celebrated. You know
You
what I
know,
mean?
it's funny you saying that because we're actually, man, I just had a great meeting with Live Nation, and we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about doing something. And if that goes through, it's going to be a really great deal that allows me to stay independent and keep my eyes
Yeah,
on. You know, I've been thinking about signing lately, and I've only been considering signing major because I want to be able to get the amount of capital I need to go even
yeah,
bigger. It's like, bro, everyone's seen me do what I've been able to do out of pocket and with smaller deals that I've done. But it's like,
yeah.
man, what happens when I get like that VC type money where it's like,
Right,
no,
right.
go build. And man, Live Nation is, we kind of got a situation that may work where I can get that. Man, if I'm able to keep my independence and
And
remain
do it.
autonomous outside the label, but still have the capital to go use
Do
the
it.
same needs and seed in the same way and control the narrative and go do the pitching, man, this shit out of here. So we
Yeah.
might be doing a celebration if that does come through, and
Yeah,
it's gonna be a
I
dope moment.
definitely would be there to celebrate you, bro. Even
Come on,
even without that deal, the next thing you
man,
do that I can make it too, man. I'm there. You know what I
I
mean?
love it. I love it.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you for joining the 10 Artist Commandments, man. Thank you for being a part of the book.